Senator Florence Shapiro has served in the Texas Senate since 1993. She first entered elective office as a Plano City Council member and was later elected mayor of Plano. She also served as president of the Texas Municipal League and the North Texas Council of Governments. In 1999, Senator Shapiro became chair of the Senate State Affairs Committee, and in 2003, she became chair of the Senate Education Committee. She currently serves as co-chair of the Education Policy Task Force for the National Council of State Governments, as well as on the Southern Regional Education Board and the Education Commission on the states. She is also a member of the Standing Committee on Education for the National Conference of State Legislators. Senator Florence Shapiro.
Thank you very much. Thank you. And first, what I'd really like to say to all the men and women in the Texas Medical Association is thank you. Thank you for all the work that you do on the front lines for all of us each and every day. I know that this sounds like something that each of us is going to tell you, but I can honestly say that each time we think about our doctors, we trust you way more than we trust the bureaucrats in Washington. And so as we hear and talk about the issues that are important to you and important to us, please know that we are doing this, that I am doing this. I think we all are doing this because we believe in you, because you put patients first and politics after that. And I think one of the things that we've learned, that I've learned about your job, is that you are serving your patients in the greatest state, in the greatest nation in the world. And we need to keep that in our forefront of our mind on every issue that we deal with. 15 months ago, I was actually the first candidate to announce that I would run for the United States Senate, either 2012 or before. And I'm happy to tell you that I have traveled throughout the state of Texas. I've been to all the corners of the state, talking to people, listening to their concerns, finding out what's really important to Texans. On a trip to Brownsville, one of my colleagues, Eddie Lucio Jr., a state senator, introduced me as a relentless advocate. But first I kind of grimaced at him and I thought, what does that mean? And then I took it as a compliment. And I do take it as a compliment. I think relentless is a term that I'd like to continue with. I think it's a great description not only of my zest over the last 30 years in public office, but also my passion and my commitment to be your next United States Senator. I'm very proud today to tell you of some of my co-chairs that served me in this race. Obviously, many of you know the former quarterback and Hall of Famer Roger Staubach is a co-chairman, a statewide co-chairman. Tom Hicks, Tom Ingibus, and Jim Adams, who are both former CEOs of TI. Earl Nye, who's from TXU, and Larry Kellner down in Houston, who is the CEO of Continental Airlines. And I will tell you that 15 out of the 19 Republican senators that I serve with today in the Texas Senate are also co-chairs of my committee. I can tell you that 4 former Texas Federation of Republican Women presidents are on my co-chair list, and I'm very proud of my 2 latest accomplishments, 2 former secretaries of education in the United States government, one being Bill Bennett, who was a Secretary of Education under Ronald Reagan, and the other being Margaret Spellings, who's the Secretary of Education under George W. Bush, and thousands of other supporters across the state of Texas. As I have worked my campaign, I have relentlessly asked a question every place I go, because I believe that traveling across this state is very important and listening to the people. And the question that I ask is, do you want more federal government control in your life? Or do you want a federal government that has less control in your life and over you and respects states' rights and respects your freedoms and your opportunities? Well, I think the answer is probably pretty simple, and I think we all would agree that our belief, our values in the state of Texas lend themselves much more to less control, less government intervention. And I think today, more than ever before in my lifetime, there's a very distinct difference between those two philosophies. As a first-generation American who was the daughter of Holocaust survivors and the first in my family to graduate from college, to even attend college and certainly graduate from college, I feel a unique humility. I feel that I am in public service for the right reasons. I feel that I have a duty and an obligation as a public servant to relentlessly pursue and protect our freedoms and our opportunities in this wonderful state. Today, my husband Howard and I have 3 children, and more importantly, we have 8 grandchildren. I keep saying that, but people keep telling me they have more and more, so I stopped bragging at 8, at least for now, hoping I'll get more after that. But what I know and what I remember is my parents talking about their life, their opportunities, and I really believe that mine need to grow and to merit more people's opportunities. I believe that education equals jobs, and the experience that I've had over the many, many years in the education community prevail when I think about what we need in this country. I don't believe in federal bailouts. I believe we need more educational opportunities and less government intervention. I led the charge and passed new public school accountability issues. We will now have students that have more opportunity in the workforce and more opportunity for college. I passed job training and retraining opportunities and programs for displaced adults in this economy. Clearly, I believe the spirit of Texas is bootstraps up, not handouts down. Thank you.
Comptroller John Sharp was first elected to the Texas House in 1978, where he served until his election to the Texas Senate in 1982. In 1986, he was elected to the Texas Railroad Commission, and in 1990, he was elected State Comptroller. He was re-elected State Comptroller in 1994 and left office at the end of his term in 1999. In 2006, he co-chaired the Texas Tax Reform Commission, charged with preparing a bipartisan education finance plan for the state. In 2007, he served as treasurer for Texans to Cure Cancer, a campaign to establish grants for cancer research and prevention. He is currently a principal in the Dallas-based tax consulting firm of Ryan and Company. Comptroller John Sharp.
Thank you very much. And it's wonderful to be here with you and with this group of distinguished men and women on this panel. I want to first thank you for the support you've given me forever, and I think that I've worked very hard to try to merit that. I want to talk a little bit about finances, and particularly what I think Washington, D.C., both parties, are doing to us. If someone came up to you, if your banker came up to you and said, and you had to go to the banker because you were out of money and you were in dire straits, and the banker said to you, I'll give you the loan, but I want your children and I want your grandchildren to sign the note, would you do it? The answer probably is no. So why do we tolerate the same thing from the Congress of the United States? Because it's exactly what's happened. It's exactly what's happened with every bailout from TARP on, because we refuse to take our medicine that we caused, we being the Congress of the United States, and we're passing it on to our children and our grandchildren. But rest assured, someone is going to get to pay that bill. If not us, it's going to be them. And there is no difference between that scenario with the banker and what's going on in Washington, D.C. One of the things I've learned in the last 25 years is that when it comes to spending your tax dollars, the only difference between Republicans and Democrats is that they still spend the money, 100% same, but Republicans feel bad about it. And that's the only thing I've ever seen. My grandmother sent me a quote when I was first elected state representative, and she was Czechoslovakian. And if you've ever met a Sprinter Czechoslovakian, I would like to hear who it is, because I haven't. And what the note said was, when your outgo is greater than your income, your upkeep is going to be your downfall.